So he said, you see what I've done here? And I said, yes, you've got newspaper in all the beds. Is that right? No weeds. There are no weeds in this garden. You will not find a weed anywhere. So I don't have to do weeding anymore. There is a downside, though, and that is that you've got no flowers in the garden either. And he said to me, well, there's always a price to pay.
So it's just
and I
beds full of
thought, this man is
newspapers.
insane.
Totally.
DLs, welcome back to the final episode of this series, Series 9. Yoo! We've got there, and we have got such a treat for you today because we have a guest, do we not, Mr. Whitehall?
Do we?
We do. He's sitting next to you, Michael. Would you like to
yes.
please introduce our special guest of Series 9 is... Drumroll, please. Hang on.
Neil Stacy.
Woo! Uncle Neil is
Live.
in the house.
I think he's live. Let
Are
me
you
see.
alive?
Yes, he's live.
Oh.
Would you like to say hello to the DLs, Neil?
Hello, DLs.
Ah, he's in the house.
there.
What
So
does
excited.
DL stand for?
Dear listeners. Or DDLs
Just
are
checking.
the dedicated dear listeners, or Doddles are the day one dear listeners who've been with us from episode 1.
I see.
And then everybody likes to try and outdo each other with new initialisms. There is an initialism in the first email, but I haven't got to that yet, Neil, because I would like to say to the DLs, because I do like to reference my frock. Now, this frock that I'm wearing
thought
today,
I recognised that dress.
this frock, Neil,
Yes.
is, are you ready for this?
I don't know.
37 years old.
Who is he?
37 years old. I bought this when I just had Jack and I was breastfeeding, and I thought, oh, it's a good breastfeeding dress. And it takes me back to a very happy time, Neil. Sorry, too much information, I'm sure.
Really?
But this frock, 37 years old, from
Gosh.
M&S, still with me.
Well,
It's
there
got a
you
little
are.
bit of age-related wear and tear, a bit like my
Oh,
husband.
that's enough.
You've got so
Look,
many
There's
dresses.
a hole there and a
are there?
hole there.
Do you wear that often?
Is that where he clung to you?
What, Jack or Michael? PPJ, too enthusiastic. Oh, God, I've got to get a picture of this setup too, because you seem to be behind a whole wall of lights, a bank of lights.
No, please don't get a picture of it because I've violated several, in fact, probably all of the
Health and safety.
rules. So actually, can we not look at it?
Okay. Anyway, I thought you might be interested to know that this,
Yes,
37 years old,
Yes.
we've seen it.
still going.
I think your dress is worn extremely well, Heather.
Is there I think there's a butt coming.
Well,
That's why she doesn't need any more, you're going to say.
Good logic. Good logic.
Yes, I was going to say that. Or as an alternative, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I was only going to say it as a joke.
Yeah,
But
we know about
unlike
your jokes.
yourself, it's worn very well.
Thank
your
you so
dress.
much, Michael.
But
Very
I
kind of
wouldn't
you.
have dreamt of saying that because that's just rude.
Yes, when you're never rude, of course,
No,
are you?
I'm never
Would you
rude.
agree with that, Neil? Never rude.
Never rude.
No, never.
No.
Now, we've paid Uncle Neil to do this episode, but we haven't paid him in money. We've paid him in homegrown produce. We talked last week, Neil, about the golden plum ripple ice cream, which you had last night.
That was my fee.
That was your feed. Golden ripple ice
Oh,
cream.
I would have had more.
Toblerone ice cream.
I see.
You've had homegrown beans, homegrown beetroot,
That's true.
homegrown runner beans, which we will come on to. That's a topic I'd like to revisit. Lot of herbs, homegrown tomatoes. It's just been a cornucopia of homegrown produce.
Yeah.
Now, Michael's got a little bit of a rant incoming now.
Have I?
Yes, you wanted to talk about allotments. I think it's to do with Angela Rayner.
Why are all these? Why
Here
is
we go, here we go.
Angela Rayner saying that allotments have got to be stopped and throw the people off them
And build on them.
and build on them
Did you
because
read
we're
about that?
short of houses?
I realise that we need housing. We are short of
Yeah.
housing in this country, but I think allotments is perhaps carrying it a bit too far.
Well, it's absurd.
Mm.
I mean, allotments were fought for and became. I mean, it became a major political issue in the 19th century, and landlords were obliged to provide allotments on their estates.
Really?
Yes, in villages. And they did. They did, in some villages, find that the villagers didn't want them because they far preferred stealing the squire's own vegetables from his walled garden. But allotments were statutory.
Oh, right.
And so in order to build on a lot of allotments, I think the government might have to pass an act of parliament.
Which they're no strangers to.
Which they're no strangers to, but it is, it's a short-sighted and silly thing to say. But it's said by people who have no knowledge about anything outside their flats in an urban environment.
I love, in London, coming across a batch of allotments. There's some at the bottom of the Fulham Palace Road, just before Bishop's Park. There's a huge section there. There's some by the railway in Mortlake.
Yes.
And there's some in East Sheen on a little back route that I take. It's lovely seeing
Absolutely,
them.
And some people take enormous pride in them. Others take a little less pride, but there are rules about how you
You get thrown off it if you don't.
And you can get thrown off, absolutely.
And there's a huge waiting list for them.
Do you remember that? What's that programme where they have lots of couples and people talking?
Gogglebox.
Gogglebox.
Yeah. We have some friends on Gogglebox.
We had some friends on Gogglebox.
They are on Gogglebox.
Well, they're still on Gogglebox. This isn't strictly to do with allotments, but it just made me think of this particular situation. And we went down to have lunch with these friends of ours who do or did, or maybe still do Gogglebox, but I won't mention who they are. But the gentleman, we went down for lunch, and while the lunch was being prepared, the master of the house took me out into the garden, and he said to me, "What do you think of this setup out here?" And I said, "Well, it's nice. I like it. Yes, it's lovely. And we're in such a beautiful part of the world," because they were in a village outside.
Let's just say the West Country.
Yes. They were in a beautiful village outside the West Country.
No, in the West Country.
I know.
Oh, God.
I just thought I'd get a laugh from the...
Which you did.
From
do you
our
see what
own.
I have to work with, Neil, on a weekly basis?
This
is what I have to do.
In the West Country, beautiful, lovely cottage, sweet cottage, lovely. Everything about it was lovely. And he took me out to the garden and he said, "So what do you think?" I looked at it and I thought, there's something odd about this garden. So he said, "You see what I've done here?" And I said, "Yes, you've got newspaper in all the beds.
Flower beds.
Is that right?" And he said, "Yes, that's right. Yes, it's in all the flower beds, this side and upside." And I said, "Right, that's interesting." And he said, "Do you know what that achieves?" And I said, "No." He said, "No weeds. There are no weeds in this garden. You will not find a weed anywhere. So I don't have to do weeding anymore. I was out here day and night, weeding. And I don't have to do any of that now." And I said to him, "Yes, I see. Clever." He said, I think it's clever. There is a downside, though. There always is with these sort of brilliant ideas that people have. And that is that you've got no flowers in the garden either. And he said to me, "Well, there's always a price to pay."
So it's just
and I
beds full of
thought, this man is insane.
Totally
insane. Then we went inside and had a delicious lunch.
Neil, of course, you live in a place where there are beautiful gardens, but you don't have to tend them. Although I believe there are lots of volunteers.
Yes, there are 80.
80 volunteers doing the gardening.
Well, not at the same time.
No, obviously not.
But there's
a rota.
Yes, there's a rota of 80 volunteers, which enables the head gardener to dig up anything at any time on a whim.
Yeah. But he's done a jolly good job because it looks stunning.
Yes, it does look
Yeah,
good.
it does. That is one of the plus points of where you live. The gardens are stunning.
Yeah.
Do you think we ought to have an email, PPJ?
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay, let's do it. Would you like Neil to read it, or would you like Michael to read it?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Well, he's going to have to... Neil, I'm going to throw you in at the deep end here with that first email, but there is an initialism that you're going to have to get your teeth round.
Dear WWs and PPJ, Doddle LeMay here, day 1, DL, never missed an episode, but it has taken me nearly 3 years to write in. As a child of the 80s, I'm 47 now, I grew up watching a lot of sitcoms, a genre that is less prevalent in today's TV schedules, but one I still enjoy. I remember as a child watching Uncle Neil in Duty Free and, of course, Nigel Havers in Don't Wait Up. I often rewatch some of these on DVD and YouTube, one of my all-time favourites being To the Manor Born, which my late father introduced me to when I was 11, when it was repeated on the BBC. I believe that Mr. Whitehall was an agent for some of the cast. Because it starred Penelope Keith and Peter Bowles, I found myself watching Executive Stress on YouTube recently, where I came across a very young Mrs. Whitehall in the role of Nikki the receptionist.
A career highlight. Not.
This reminded me of a comment that Hilary made in an earlier episode that I'd love to know more about. Exactly how did she end up as Victoria Wood's sound engineer and on what programme? I'm a big fan of the late comedian, actress, singer, songwriter and playwright, so would love to know what it was like to work with her. Thanks to both of you for doing a great podcast. Best wishes, Doug.
I'm going to very quickly cover off the Victoria Wood story because I would actually like to delve deep into the world of sitcoms because you were in a couple of big heavy hitter sitcoms, Neil.
Yes,
if I may
ended my career.
Ended your career? Oh, right.
Well, that was it. You couldn't get cast in anything else.
Oh, yeah, because you were too associated with. Well, going back to Victoria Wood, I was working at the time for an outfit called the Theatre of Comedy at the Ambassadors Theatre, and there were shows that they put on that I worked on as understudy. I was a sort of rolling understudy, but they also brought in visiting shows, one of which was Victoria Wood for a 6-week season. And because I was under contract to the Theatre of Comedy, I was not only cast as players cast, but also any other job that they could think of to fill my time, given that I was taking a salary off them. So when Victoria Wood came in with her one-woman show and announced that she did not have a sound engineer in tow, somebody said, "Oh, Hilary could do that." I said, "I beg your pardon?" They said, "Hilary, you could be the sound engineer." And I said, "I know nothing about sound. I do not know what to do." And they said, "Well, it's easy. You just work this deck." I said, "What is a deck?" That's how skilled I was at sound. Anyway, it was a steep learning curve, and I ended up being her sound engineer. I used to sit at the front of the circle in front of the sound deck every night, adjust the sound, a bit like a DJ. I was very keen on photography. She asked me to take pictures of her doing the show, which I did. I took pictures of her outside the theatre because I was at that time doing people's spotlight pictures. And we were very, very close and very friendly for 6 weeks. We were a tight little band.
Did you get
stage
paid
manager.
for it?
I was on salary for the Theatre of Comedy. I was under contract.
And that was Ray Cooney, wasn't it? Is Ray Cooney still with us?
Well into his 90s, he is. Yeah.
Gosh.
Anyway, that was how I ended up as Victoria.
So
Wood.
that's why you now know how to turn a television on.
Correct. I know my way around.
Which is a mystery.
Well, it's a mystery to you. Certainly a mystery to Mr.
us.
White. Or, yeah, the two of them together, hopeless. I want to go back to sitcoms because Neil, Duty Free, that was a big one.
Yes, it was. We got 18 million viewers a week.
18 million
Yes,
a week?
Yes. We knocked Coronation Street off its pedestal. 18
million viewers.
Yes.
Was it fun?
Oh, doing comedy isn't fun.
Oh, it's a very serious business.
Well, it is. I mean, laughs are serious. They're not funny.
Yeah.
So actually, really, it was. I mean, we used to rehearse for 4 days in London, and then we'd travel up to Yorkshire to do it on the 5th day. We'd then have a technical, and the next day we'd do it, and then the spare day we'd drive back to London, and start again
with an audience,
and
with
it
a
was
live
live.
audience,
It was live, yes.
Yeah.
But no, in fact, it was fun to do because the scripts were good.
Yeah.
And so one with a live audience, if you've got a good script, I'm ashamed to say it is a feeling of power.
Mm.
In fact, all comics, your son in particular, I think would be good to talk about this because stand-up comedy is an exercise in power, which is why it's so difficult for a young man like Jack to make an old man like you or me laugh, and he succeeds, which is a sign of his success. But anyway, yeah, it's a serious
I would
business.
argue everything comes back to the words. I mean, TV dramas, plays, it's all about the words. If the script's
good,
wrong, you've got nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although sometimes a really good actor can make a good script better.
But you had a belting cast in.
But we had a
Duty
good
Free. You had
cast.
proper actors in it, didn't you?
Keith Barron and Gwen Taylor and Joanna Van Geisingen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, oddly, the job came up for me because I'd only been doing classic serials and classic plays on television, which I really enjoyed doing. But I did think, because I'd heard how much money was
in
sitcoms. And I was driving back from doing the Palaces or something, and I said to myself, I really want to do a sitcom. And then up came Duty Free.
You manifested
And at the end of the sitcom era, I was saying, I'd really like to do a classic serial. Yeah. By then it was too late.
Well, of course, people say to Jack, would you rather do acting or comedy? And he said, I always want to be doing what I'm not doing.
Exactly.
So when I'm in the middle of a massive tour, I want to be acting. And then when I'm acting, I think, I really want to be doing comedy.
Yeah, actors are never satisfied.
No, exactly.
And when you're out of work and you say you want to work and the telephone rings and they say, this is a job, and you say, oh, no, I've got to go shopping. I've got to do this.
You used to find that, didn't you? Your actors were an absolute pain in the neck most of the time.
Yeah, you badger your agent.
Anywhere. And then you get a job and they go, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm working. I'm trying to deal with home. And you had many clients that did that, didn't they?
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would be desperate for work until the work came.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, I don't think I can do that, can I? I said, well, you're free, aren't you? Oh, I'm free, I suppose I am. I was just hoping to mow the lawn this week. And
well, I remember once being in your office and you used that to get more money out of the people who were ringing up asking for the client. And the client was that great film actor, Harry Andrews. And you said, where's the location? And apparently they said Leningrad, because it was before St. Petersburg again. And you said, oh, he doesn't go out much these days. You know, he's got the dogs to walk.
Bless him.
And he had
2
dogs.
Very busy life down
He
at
also
Roberts
had
Bridge.
Basil Hoskins to look after too.
You then, Duty Free, you did actually do a stage version as well, didn't you?
We did decide to clean up on the 18 million viewers by taking it on tour.
Yes.
And we played big theatres like the Opera House in Manchester and the Grand at Leeds, which was fine. We were filling the theatres. And then we decided to be really greedy and do End of the Pier at Bournemouth for 4 weeks.
For a summer season. Oh, wow.
The trouble with the Pier Theatre at Bournemouth is the only way of getting from one side of it to the other is to crawl under the stage.
Very convenient.
High seas blew throughout those 4 weeks.
Oh my God!
The weather was appalling. The audience queuing up on the pier to get in had to have a rope specially put down for them all to hold onto to avoid them being blown off the pier.
The end of the pier in August.
In August,
yeah.
And so the waves were crashing against the floor. The waves were crashing against the floor of the theatre, of the stage, and the stage floor the audience saw was not very. It was about 3 feet above the basic floor.
Yeah.
So the waves were there, and the feet of the other actors above you were.
What, you had to
3 feet
crawl
above, and
under
you had
the
to crawl
stage?
under to get to the other side. And we had this stage manager who was an amateur magician, and he was always in rehearsal. He kept coming up to us saying, guess which hand, and doing a trick.
Oh.
And so we'd be crawling under the stage to get to the other side, and there would be this wretched stage manager, because he knew he had a captive audience, and he was saying, guess which hand, blocking the way
With
through.
the play going on above you.
Ludicrous, absolutely
Oh my God.
ludicrous.
What's it called? That close
Close-up magic.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So that was Bournemouth
So
Pier.
that was Bournemouth Pier.
Yeah. Because you also did, I believe you did a play with, we had a lot of discussion the other week. So we stayed with Phil McIntyre, who is a great friend of Ben Elton. Because I believe you did one of his early plays, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I'm not sure how early it was. It was Gasping,
Yeah.
which was about this crooked businessman who stole the air in order to sell carbon monoxide or whatever it is.
Carbon dioxide.
Dioxide.
Yeah.
And he's stopped by this his manager. Anyway, I was playing the wicked businessman, and I was staying with some friends on the tour. We were playing one of the Yorkshire theatres, and staying in Yorkshire. And I arrived on Sunday for lunch, and they were having a party and had some friends in. And one of the friends was a neighbouring landowner whose family had been there for 600 years. He was quite old. He was very deaf because he shot the whole time. And his very young wife, his third wife, I was talking to her and saying what I was doing. And she said, "Oh, that sounds interesting. I think we'd rather enjoy that. And I think Richard would like it. Richard, Neil's in this play. I think we ought to go and see it." And he said, "Who's it by?" "Ben Elton." "Who?" "Ben Elton." "I never heard of him." "Oh, darling, of course you've heard of it. Listen, I know a lot of people that you don't know. And it seems apparently that you know some people that I don't know. And this Ned Belton is certainly one of them."
Ned Belton. Okay, it's a bit you, that.
Ned
It's a bit like
Belton.
you with the pop star the other
Yes,
day.
yeah.
I mean, can't
Ned
take him
Belton.
anywhere. Jolly talented Ned Belton, isn't he? He writes well.
Yeah.
So again,
Oh,
coming back to
absolutely.
the words,
Yeah.
he does a good word. But I'm going to come back to this too, because there was a bit of a crossover with To the Man of Born, because you then went on to do a sitcom with one of our best of all time, Angela Thorne,
Yes.
who we love. Did we not, Michael Whitehall?
There's 3 Up, 2
Yeah.
Down.
3 Up, 2 Down,
Yeah.
Barney's
Angela Thorne.
godmother, wonderful actress.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Was that fun? Different type of
It
type
was
of
a different
comedy.
type of fun. There were a few problems, but one of the problems, which was always the case with dear Angela, and which she would have admitted to,
Yeah.
was
I know where you're going with this.
was that she shook.
Yeah.
Not she had nothing wrong with that, but she was pretty nervous when doing it. But it was like a swan. She seemed to be gliding, but paddling like Billy O behind. And she had an awful lot of time in this with cups and saucers. And so they had to be blue tacked together.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
They wouldn't wobble.
And the production companies, always with Angela, they knew what she'd be like, but they still gave her cups and
Props,
saucers.
props
And they'd
the
say,
whole
"Why-
time."
why
They're
don't we
always a
put-
very
Angela,
proper-
why don't you come in carrying a big tray, 6 cups on it?" And Angela would never say, "Oh, I don't think I can do that."
Absolutely, that's
Because
right.
she was well aware of that she
Yeah.
was just shaking.
Yes.
Sorry,
she'd
Michael.
just go ahead and do
One
it.
of those producers was you. You produced a play with Angela about P.G. Woodhouse,
Oh,
where she
yes, I
played
did,
Mrs.
with
Woodhouse.
Anton Rogers.
And
yeah.
you gave her, well, no, it wasn't you, it was, well, you and the director between them, her first entrance onto the stage, and I don't know whose bright idea this was, I think the director's, was that she had an absolutely live, real terrier on a lead, 2 bags of shopping and an umbrella that she had to navigate onto the stage, sort
could you,
herself out.
She
And then
was playing a bit of a character, that character.
Yeah, that was a mean trick, Michael Whitehall.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that.
yeah.
Shopping,
Shopping,
dog.
umbrella,
And a
dog,
And an
coat,
umbrella.
hat.
And
Yeah,
she had
poor
to take
Angela. She
the
said,
coat
"Are
and
you trying to
hat
kill
off.
me?"
Put it on a hanger. Put the
Oh
dog.
dear, get the dog off the lead. Oh yeah, nightmare. Now, sitcoms, of course, they're a bit of a dead breed, really, aren't they? We don't
They
really
are.
do them in the same way now.
No. Well, that utterly brilliant Stacy and why is it I can't...
Gavin and Stacey.
Gavin
Oh, Gavin and
Stacey. Why is
Stacey,
it I could only remember
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
half of
Yeah.
that title?
Oh, I wonder why Mr. Stacy.
I thought it was the most brilliant
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you can watch it and watch it and watch it over and over and over again in a way that you can't the old sitcoms.
No. They do date.
They do
definitely
date.
date. Yeah.
And then the way they date is what's interesting. But it's different, yeah. And
It
they've got
is.
to be more realistic because the storylines were never really realistic.
You have some very unexpected tastes in programming. One is The Simpsons.
Oh,
Would you put this man as a Simpson fan? You love The Simpsons, don't you?
yes.
Michael, you don't get that, do you?
Absolutely. I mean, if anyone says to me, "Oh, the Americans have got no sense of irony, no sense of humour," watch The Simpsons. I mean, it goes in some series were not as good as others,
Yeah.
but there were 2 years which were pure gold,
Yeah.
and the voiceovers were brilliantly done too.
The other one that I believe you're a big fan of, which again, I mean, literally, this is going to blow your mind, this one, because this is very in keeping with my children. And that is, ready?
I think I deny it in
No,
advance.
ready?
I would
You
say
ready?
No.
Shall I ask for my lawyer?
Yes.
Friends.
Oh, I did like it, but I've tried to watch it again and I can't bear it.
Oh, okay, but you did like it
I
first time
loved
round.
it
Okay,
when
you
I
see?
first came across. I'd never heard of it until it had been going for about 5 years,
Yeah,
and then I bought the whole lot
yeah, I
and
remember.
watched every single one.
Who knew? Dr. Stacy, a big Friends fan, and The Simpsons.
But
What was the other one that you loved with Gary?
Seinfeld,
Seinfeld.
and
Oh,
also Larry Sanders, brilliant.
Dear Hilary and Michael, I hope this email finds you both well. I've never written into a podcast before, so it's a first for me, but I am nonetheless a day one DL. I finally decided to get my act together and write an email about ASMR. Are either of you familiar with it? It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Literally don't know what she's talking about.
Do you know? No.
Nope.
To break it down as simply as possible, sometimes when I listen to a particular sound, be it whispering or crunching or clicking sometimes, it produces a tingly feeling in my ears and down my spine.
Oh, I wondered what she was going to say then. They, them.
A bit like when you get chills. My grandmother always used to say it was somebody walking over her grave. I was curious to know if either of you ever get this sensation. Big love, Justine.
Justine. Okay, Justine. I actually used that expression about somebody just walked over my grave.
Yes.
You know when you suddenly shiver for no reason? There is an expression. Have you never
Neil
done that?
doesn't do that.
No, okay.
When
So
Neil
sometimes
shivers, he
like
doesn't
that, and you think
do
someone's
it
walked
for
over
no
my grave.
reason.
It's very weird. I don't know where that came from.
If Neil shivers, he doesn't
Watch
do
out.
it for no reason. Watch out.
Neil, who lives in a place where the boiler is broken for half of the most winters, the only shivers you get are when you are looking for a jumper to put on because it's so blooming cold in your house.
Well, no, then you think warm, you see.
You see, I love this about Neil. So tell us about think warm, think cool.
Well, it's just if you think you're cold,
Yeah.
you won't be hot. And if you think you're hot, you won't be cold.
I've seen Neil in a tweed jacket in 90 degrees heat and have said, how are you managing to wear that jacket? You say, I'm just thinking cool.
Yes, you have.
And,
You do.
Yeah.
the other way, if it's freezing cold, then you walk naked in fantastic summer's heat. As
Okay.
Shakespeare put it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was his idea. He thought of everything.
Right, okay,
first.
so you're not...
In fact, he said it was nonsense.
Oh, okay. But you don't. You adhere to this.
Yeah, I would
You
adhere to
think
it.
cool, you think hot.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not aware of this whole tingling situation.
No, I'm not. No, I honestly can't think that I've ever shivered without.
Being cold.
But I didn't really think I shiver.
I think it's more of a tingle than a
Well, certainly
shingle.
not. I hope it's
Tingle
not
or a
shingle.
shingle.
I think it's more of a tingle than a shiver.
Tingle than a shiver.
Yeah. Does anything
Well,
make you
I'm not-
tingle, Neil, or is this too much information?
Not
too
that I want to
personal?
talk about at 11:45.
What makes you tingle, Michael Whitehall?
I
Apart
don't think
from,
I do tingle.
apart
do
from
I?
my hands
Not
dancing
anymore,
through
old
your
chap.
hair.
No.
And that's the trouble. We
You
don't
need
tingle
You
anymore.
need
do we?
written warning of a tingle
We may have
situation.
tingled once in our lives. We don't tingle.
Yeah.
You
anymore.
get to a point in your life where you become tingle free,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And I think Neil and I have definitely reached that
Tingle-free
point.
zone
We
over
just-
there
And
on that
indeed
sofa.
left it behind.
We
and
just
moved
woke up
on.
and thought, no,
There,
I
no.
don't want to tingle anymore.
No,
That is a tingle-free zone,
Yeah.
that sofa there. Yeah.
completely.
Is there anything, if we flip this on its head, is there anything that makes your flesh crawl? I mean, is there a sound that you think, oh, I can't, like nails on the blackboard? Or is there anything that annoys you with sounds?
I hate hearing knives and forks on plates on television or on film.
Okay, that's quite
Because,
specific.
yeah, it drives me mad. I'll turn it off. Or hearing people eating. Because in real life, if you're sitting at a table talking to people at the table, you don't hear them clattering the plate with their knives and forks, and you don't hear them eat unless they're
No, you
particularly
don't.
nasty eaters. It's because in the environment of a play on television or film, the sound is going to say, sorry, cut, we've heard someone doing that. So all the other noises that you hear when you're eating an ordinary meal, you don't hear, because all you hear is click, 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 and that's not real life, and it drives me mad, and I turn it off.
So the person that you need to blame for that, Neil, I'm going to ask you one quick question. Do you know what a Foley editor is?
I have no idea.
Do you know what a Foley
I
editor is,
do.
Michael? Yes, of course you do. So what is a Foley editor?
Well, Foleys are the editor fills in the gaps where when you're walking, you're doing your feet, and if particularly outside,
Yeah.
the Foley editor will give you footsteps, for example.
Or if you're watching a meal
Right.
sequence, they will give you the clinking of the cutlery on the plates. So it's their
Oh,
fault.
that's why I take against it. Then.
Yes, because it's
obviously false.
quite often added
Yeah.
on. So
But
the
if you
Foley
see
editor is-
somebody
Well, no.
marching across a
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
walking across
Yeah,
a
yeah.
field, and you're in close up with him, and
Yeah.
you can see him walking, you're going to need the little
Yes,
slightly squelchy sound, which is what the Foley editor will
Foley.
add.
Right.
or
to-
if you have somebody, for instance, shaving, that they'll put in the scrape
The
of the
scrape,
razor and everything.
which is rarely audible.
No, exactly. You make a fine point there that when you're watching someone shaving, you're not going to be hearing the.
No, I hope
suppose-
not.
It's particularly footsteps.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Footsteps is
Yeah.
the big.
But it is the sound
Thing.
editor for the soundtrack of a film who has to augment the sound with extra
Right.
effects, essentially.
I
There
mean,
you
when
go.
Anthony Perkins was going up those stairs,
Mm.
no, it wasn't him. It was the policeman was going up the stairs, about to be axed in the back of his head by Martin Balsam as the police.
Yeah, Marty Balsam played the policeman who then got.
He was going up the stairs, Marty Balsam, and Anthony Perkins was at the top of the stairs dressed up as his mother
Yes.
and was about to kill him with an axe, I think. But you had to hear him going up the stairs with the creaking of the stair
Right.
Yeah.
and the foot going onto the stairs. And that was
Yes.
what
Well, that
Hitchcock
yeah,
would be looking for
absolutely.
I bet
moment.
Hitchcock's Foley editor was kept very busy.
Yes.
that. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. Particularly in the birds, I would have thought.
Yeah.
I think they went
Yeah.
batshit
Yeah,
crazy, if you'll excuse the pun, on the birds. But okay, so you don't like. Is there anything that makes you any noise or any sort of feeling that drives you nuts? You're not very keen on nylon, are you? A nylon shirt or any sort of lycra-y type. I tried to get you one stage when I was on a sort of exercise kick. I tried to get him into lycra. That was a mistake.
No.
Did not like the feel of the
No, I
lycra,
did
that
not
was for
like the
sure.
feel.
No
No.
tingles were involved with that, I can
No.
assure you. Yes, my
No.
exercise regime for Mr. Whitehall, it's not been a huge success, as we discussed the other day.
No, but
Neil.
he's still with us.
He's still with us.
This is the
He's still
amazing
moving
thing.
around, just. I do occasionally get him on a dance floor at the wedding for one dance, and then he goes home.
Well, we nearly got you for a walk yesterday. You got to the front door, sniffed the air, and turned back and came
Yes.
in.
Okay, this is via WhatsApp. Do you know what WhatsApp is, Neil?
No.
It's a communication on a telephone, a mobile telephone. I think the problem with your mobile telephone arrangements is that you never switch yours on, do you?
No. Well, I do if I'm driving.
Okay, which is the one time when you shouldn't have it.
No,
switched
I
on.
won't answer it. But if I were to need it in an emergency,
Oh, I see what you
then
mean.
it's
Yes,
there.
yeah. Could I just say, Neil, that would you know how to answer your phone?
Well,
Because
it
I've run
sounds
you on
pathetic. I usually turn it off. I mean, somehow when it rings,
Yeah, you managed
it
to.
so surprises me that I wipe it the wrong way.
Ah, yes, and you cut the person
But
off.
I didn't realise that that's how you answered, by wiping it. I'd thought you pressed one of those
Right, then
buttons on
you've
it.
got to do a swipe.
You swipe it.
Yes.
Well, I didn't realise that. But
Okay.
people, anyway, they don't really
I
ring
can
me on
give
it
you some
'cause they know
lessons on it
it's
if
a
you want, Neil.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I notice people now talking to the side of their...
Yes, they do that because they have it on a
Telephones,
speakerphone. Yeah, that is quite annoying when they do all that business.
Um,
And then, of course, you can have a visual representation of the person because you can
I
do
don't
what's
want to
known as a
see that.
FaceTime, which we
the
did
whole
this
point
morning.
of talking to someone on the telephone is that they can't see you when you're pretending that you want to talk to them.
Or indeed that you don't want to talk to
Well,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you say, "Oh, lovely to hear you."
Oh, the tricks of the trade coming out now, Neil. Hi, Hilary. Only addressed to me, Michael.
Right.
An attentive DL here reminding you to tell us why Dinsdale Landon bought your first house. Not quite true. He was responsible for us buying our first house that we bought together, was he not?
Well,
Yes, he was, Michael.
what?
Well,
We saw the house.
sorry,
We
who
liked
alerted us
it.
to the house?
Did he alert us?
If you remember,
Oh,
Michael,
yes,
we had
that's
been
right. He said there's a house.
we had been to see a house on Barnes Common. You then told Dinsdale, and he said, "Oh, what you mean by the cricket pitch?" And you said, "No, there wasn't a cricket pitch." He said, "Yes, the house on the common with the cricket pitch. There's one for sale there." And you said, "I don't know where you're talking about." He said, "Putney Common, that house." So you, of course, being you, thought, "I need to see this house in front of a cricket pitch." We drove over there, and there was one for sale sign.
Yeah.
And you then said to Dinsdale, "Right, we're going to go and have a look at it. Would you like to come with us?"
Yeah.
So he came with us,
Yeah.
did he not?
He did.
Yeah. We looked round the house.
Yeah.
He said, "I think you should buy." Why am I telling this story? You're
Well,
meant to
you're
be telling the
it very
story.
well, but. And then he said, "You must buy that house."
He said it's got
you
Michael-
written all over it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't quite understand what he meant by that, because it was sort of
Hadn't
built
been
in.
touched since the 60s, and it was
Yes, exactly.
covered in gopping wallpaper. Do you remember that house in Lower Common South, Neil?
Very well.
Had a bright red
Lovely
carpet.
house.
Yes.
Lovely house,
Yeah.
but
But at the time when we looked
It
round
was a
it,
bit
it was
run
had been
down.
very run down. I always remember that there was cat shit on one of the beds as well, which I thought
That's
was not
always
great.
Yeah, that's always
It's not
good.
a good selling point, I don't feel.
It's also not very nice if you're a guest in the house and they say this is the bedroom.
Yes. Just remove the shit to get into bed. Anyway, we ended up buying the house, as you well know.
And living there.
The only
for-
thing you could
And
do, really.
so we then went for a walk
Yes.
on the common with Dinsdale, and you said to Dinsdale, "I've bought that house," and he said,
You haven't. I mean, and I said, yes, I mean, how could you possibly have afforded it? And I said, well, I sort of put a bit,
Got a
bit
massive
money here
mortgage.
and there, and I've got a massive. Oh, fuck. You must be absolutely mad. I mean, you got some sleepless nights ahead
"Yeah,
of you.
you said you told me to buy
And
it."
I said, you told me to buy it, Dinsdale. He said, yeah, but I didn't mean you to actually buy it. You must be completely mad. Anyway, I did buy it, and we did ultimately pay off the mortgage.
We did 18% the interest rates back then, Neil.
I remember it.
I had a bridging loan
I remember it.
and 18%.
Yeah.
Not great.
So
Not great at all.
did have a
wonderful
happy
rates for
ending.
savers.
Yes, great for savers, not for mortgage payers.
Oh.
But I have to say that the other day we did a little bit about Dinsdale. I can't remember why. And we then, the following day, went into Specsavers to get his glasses
Yes.
adjusted. And this woman went, "Oh my God, it's you two. I love your podcast. I was listening to it only this morning." She said, "I've got to ask you a question." I said, "Right." She said, "We had a teacher at school who was called the Reverend Landon, who allegedly was Dinsdale's brother." And I said, "Oh, well, that must be Dalby then, because he had a twin brother called Dalby."
Yes, I mean, what were the parents thinking of calling the two boys Dalby and Dinsdale?
Twins, I know.
What sort of future do you think they were planning for them?
Well,
Actors.
really big characters to carry those names. Yeah.
So
Laurence-
Dalby was a vicar.
No, he wasn't, in
Yeah.
fact.
No,
I
he
looked
wasn't.
him up. So Davina, it was Davina who we
Right.
met in Specsavers. I'm sorry to say that Dalby was not Dinsdale's vicar brother. I think he may have had another brother who was a vicar, though. I do think a
Right.
vicar was involved.
But Laurence Olivier got rather muddled with Dinsdale's name once, didn't he? And
God,
called
yes.
him.
It was Westminster Abbey,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a memorial service
For Henry V.
for Henry V.
Bit late.
Well,
And
no,
all-
I mean, it was a celebration.
Well,
It was a
kind
sort
of
of celebration
celebration
of Henry V.
right.
of Henry
Right.
V.
And they asked all the actors
Oh, that's
who've
right.
They
ever
asked,
played
yes.
Henry,
Henry
V.
V.
That's right.
So there was Laurence Olivier. Laurence
Laurence
Olivier
was hosting
was
it,
hosting it and greeting
Yes.
everybody. And there was John Gielgud and Ralph Richardson
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
those
great and the
famous
good.
knights.
Yeah.
And there was Dinsdale, because Dinsdale had played
Henry V.
him in a
You're going to be really rude now. I know you. You're
very
going to say
random.
Churchill Theatre Bromley or that
somewhere.
Horn
He
Church
played
Theatre.
it somewhere, sort of
Theatre Clwyd or
Theatre Clwyd
Yeah.
or whatever. So he was in the lineup.
Yeah.
So at the end, they're presented to Larry Olivier, who's standing there with the
presumably
Archbishop.
Lord Olivier by that time.
I don't think he was.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, he might have
Certainly
been.
Sir Lawrence.
So these famous people were queuing up to say hello to him, and he was saying, Ralph Richardson came up and he said, "Oh, Rafe, you darling boy, it was so lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. So wonderful." And then John Gielgud followed, and Johnny, darling, yours was the best ever, and so sweet and darling of you to have come. Thank you so much. And then there were a couple of others. And then there was Dinsdale. And Dinsdale got to the front of the queue, and Laurence Olivier looked at him and looked at his note, and he said, Linstall, constantly in my thoughts.
That's right. Yes.
Linstall.
Constantly in
dear.
my thoughts. I had no idea
Dear
who he
old
was.
Din. I think I'm going to draw this to a close, Dr. Stacy. I'm drawing this to a close.
Are you going to tell us why you're a doctor?
Oh, yes. Why are you
Because
a doctor?
I rang you once when I had a headache and you
A
got very
verruca.
cross with me. I asked you to suck something off I got got some sort of growth on my hand.
I mean, what's
you said-
happened in your moral development
What?
as a man that made you decide to be so remote from the truth at certain times? Was it a search for laughter? A decision that really your role in life was to entertain the world with fiction?
But you are a doctor.
Yes, I am, but I'm a doctor of philosophy, and that's not philosophy because it's a doctor of philosophy from Oxford University, which is for all subjects apart from medicine.
What, then you become a doctor?
Yes,
The
or
medical
music. But I think Doctor of Music is an honorary one,
Okay.
which they just give you.
Your subject being history?
Mine is
medieval
history, and I got a doctorate of philosophy for a thesis on the estates of Glastonbury Abbey from, at a pinch, 1050
Yeah.
to 1201, and not a second after.
Okay, so just the 200 years.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Thursday with the bonus app. Please join us then. Dr. Stacy's sticking around for that, so let's see where we go with that. Please do what you do so well. Rate, review, share, subscribe, tell your friends, follow the show. Keep the emails coming, the witteringwhitehalls@gmail.com. Please tune into YouTube. Yes, if you want to watch it, tune into YouTube. And please keep the voice notes and the WhatsApps coming, because you are the beating heart of the podcast and we love you. So please join us again on Thursday. Until then, I will say farewell, and you will say Michael Whitehall,
I will say goodbye.
and you will say Neil.
Goodbye.